Your toddler is having a massive meltdown. You take a deep breath, you get down on their level, and use the gentle parenting script. You ask them to use their words. You tell them you see how angry they are. Instead of calming down, they escalate. The screaming gets louder, they arch their back, and they push you away. The exact tools designed to suit them seem to be making the situation actively worse. If you have experienced this, you are not doing the technique wrong. Child psychologists and developmental experts genuinely recommend teaching kids emotional literacy and asking them to identify their feelings. The problem in this specific moment isn't the tool itself. The variable ruining the interaction is timing. Applying a psychological strategy during a peak state of panic guarantees a worse meltdown, and the reason comes down to basic human biology. To understand the backfire, we have to look at why we teach emotional labeling in the first place. For adults, putting feelings into words is a universally accepted best practice for regulating stress. In 2007, a researcher at UCLA named Matthew Lieberman put subjects inside an MRI machine to see exactly what happens when we do this. He found that when people verbally labeled an angry or fearful image, the amygdala, the brain's panic center, immediately decreased its activity. At the exact same time, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for logic and impulse control, lit up. Language literally acts as a neurological brake on our emotional responses. It is a biological off switch for panic. That is exactly why parents are taught to use it on their children. But there is a biological catch. To engage that language brake, you need a fully functioning prefrontal cortex to process the logic while you are under stress. This anatomical diagram shows the brain's emotional control centers. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child shows that a young child's limbic system, including the amygdala, is highly active very early in life. The prefrontal cortex, however, is the slowest maturing region of the human brain. During a tantrum, it goes completely offline. Asking a thrashing toddler to use their words mid-meltdown forces them to try and cross a neural bridge that has not physically been built yet. The connection between their panic center and their logic center is effectively severed. Experts from the Child Mind Institute warn that expecting a child to instantly process language and stop being upset is a total developmental mismatch. Demanding logic during a tantrum overwhelms an already redlining nervous system. You are asking the brain to do something it structurally cannot do, which pours neurological gasoline on the emotional fire. If your child's prefrontal cortex is offline, you have to physically step in and act as their external regulator until the storm passes. According to Harvard Health, this process is called co-regulation. Before you even attempt to interact with your child, you have to pause, take a deep breath, and regulate your own nervous system. Parenting expert Janet Lansbury emphasizes a calm, confident physical approach. You maintain a steady posture, avoid exaggerated sad faces, and resist the urge to treat the meltdown as a massive, world-ending event. If things get physical, you set the limit with a firm, simple script. You can be sad. I won't let you hit. To acknowledge their discomfort without demanding an explanation, use a simple validation script. Ah, you didn't like that. That was uncomfortable, wasn't it? You are providing silent, steady physical presence. This establishes the biological safety the child requires to eventually bring their own thinking brain back online. You aren't throwing your gentle parenting tools away. You are just rescheduling them to the recovery phase. You will know the storm has passed by watching their physical cues. Their rigid body will soften, their voice will settle down from a scream to a cry, and they will finally be able to make eye contact again. Once their nervous system is calm, the logic center is back online. That is exactly when you deploy the emotional labeling tools, saying something like, "You were so frustrated when your block tower fell." The next time a tantrum hits, count to 3, say less, stay close, and save the words for later. Please note, this video is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. You are not failing at raising your kids. You are simply mastering the timeline of their